would stand in front of the wardrobe that had a big mirror on the door and practice his expressions and moves. It was a good while after the war, but sometimes when I was out in town with him, people walking past would call out, Adolf, or greet him with, Heil Hitler.
Dass Leute an ihm vorbeigegangen sind, die gemacht haben, Adolf Hitler.
Noel hopes for success as a Hitler impersonator in feature films.
Heil Hitler! Heil Hitler! Heil Hitler!
During the mid-40s, American actor Bobby Watson came to some fame by playing Hitler in Hollywood movies. Now, Noel wants to emulate him.
Conquer all foes. Russia, England, America, Japan.
But first, Noel must win over the public at home.
He would perform his act at society parties, anniversary celebrations, and so on. They would book him for certain events, and he was usually announced as a celebrity, Adolf Hitler line or something. His performance would last about half an hour. He would make speeches and hold forth about things or crack some jokes. Sometimes he got paid 50 or even 100 Deutschmarks for his performance, which usually went down very well. So in a way, he became quite a celebrity, at least around Hesse.
In a Hollywood film, headhunters rob Hitler of his mustache and his quiff. For Heinrich Noel, this scene becomes reality in 1950, when he has a run-in with an American and his German drinking buddy.
I walked into the yard, saw him lying on the ground. They'd shaved his head completely and his moustache too. They'd also taken all his clothes off down to his underpants and beaten him up. He was black and blue all over.
Mustache and hair may grow back, but Noel takes legal action and demands compensation for lost movie fees. Despite the vicious attack, he does not give up his career as a Hitler impersonator, but never attains stardom. While Hitler has by now become a figure of fun for many Germans, in 1952 the judges in the district court in Berchtesgaden must occupy themselves in earnest with the fate of the dictator. A Munich court has awarded Hitler's entire fortune to the Bavarian state. However, the ruling is legally doubtful, as the Führer has never officially been declared dead. The assets in question are valuable properties in Munich and on Obersalzberg. The rights to Hitler's book Mein Kampf are also awarded at first to the Bavarian state. Loyal supporters have continued to bequeath valuable things to the Führer even after his death. The public prosecutor's offices in Berlin and Vienna show interest in the case, but in the end the trial takes place in Berchtesgaden, as Bavaria is keen on claiming the lion's share of Hitler's assets. Among the court files is a letter written by attorney Alfred Seidel, who will later become Bavaria's Minister of the Interior. He represents Hitler's youngest sister, who calls herself Paula Wolf, and joins the inheritance dispute. Paula Hitler is meanwhile moved from Vienna to Berchtesgaden, where she is secretly filmed on behalf of a U.S. television show. Her primary claim is to her brother's residential building at Prinz Regentenplatz in Munich. Besides Paula, other up-to-that point unheard of relatives of Hitler contact the investigators. A certain Fritz von Reichert from Düsseldorf claims to be Hitler's son and informs the investigating officers that his father is still alive. He maintains he is Hitler's first child, born on the 27th of January 1918 at Obersalzberg. His real name is Heinz Fritz Oswald Adolf Hitler. At the beginning of the proceedings, Judge Heinrich Stephanus questions many familiar witnesses, including former Hitler Youth leader Arthur Axmann and Hitler's secretaries. They provide the names of further material witnesses whose whereabouts are unknown. The court requests that the Red Cross investigate a search for Hitler's valet, Heinz Linger, and personal adjutant Otto Günsche. The SS Sturmbannführer remained at Hitler's side from 1944 up to his suicide in the bunker. Günsche's testimony is to provide the certainty the court needs. It is likely that Hitler's former adjutant is in Moscow, was last seen in early May 1945 in a Soviet prisoner camp together with Heinz Linger, the valet. The German inmates in Moscow's Lubyanka prison are subjected to interrogation after interrogation. The methods are harsh and beatings are not uncommon. These are photographs of Heinzlinger from his KGB file. He and Günsche received 25-year sentences as war criminals, but after Stalin's death, the Soviet government releases them.
They were playing a double game here because A, they wanted to extract evidence that Hitler was still alive. So that was why they were trying to get them to confess that they'd actually burnt a doppelganger. And that was the story that they were putting out at the time, that a doppelganger had been found and all the rest of it. But at the same time, they were again trying to re-verify the evidence. And in fact, they brought them all back, all these prisoners back from Moscow to Berlin, to reenact exactly what had happened on that particular day and so forth.
These are rare photographs of the Führerbunker beneath the garden of the Reichskanzlei in May 1945. 1 year later, Heinzlinger and Otto Günsche are taken to Berlin for a few days in order to help reconstruct the events of the 30th of April 1945. Afterwards, they are returned to Moscow. In 1955, 3 years into the proceedings about Hitler's inheritance, the court